What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. Let's go and see how the internet did react to PSG's 5-3 win over Tottenham Hotspur in the Champions League yesterday. And first up is Opta analysts saying beauty of a team move from Spurs for this one. And this is obviously for Spurs opener with Richarlison. It really was brilliant. Look how many different players involved there. That Bergvall pass round the back to Archie Gray as well. It's just fantastic stuff.
Yeah, and you saw Spence getting more involved. It was good play from Van der Ven as well. He played the team passing and moving, and yeah, Bergvall to Gray, and then brilliant move on the touchline, wasn't it? And then a great presence of mind from Muani not to go for goal, aim for Richarlison. And that's kind of like what Frank's all about, always looking for the better chance to shoot. And it was just a great team goal overall, and that's what we like to see. Like exactly. We haven't seen enough of those kind of moves put together.
Exactly. Frank ball in full effect.
That was definitely one of the
Frank ball in full effect.
That was definitely one of the first times we've seen like a Thomas Frank goal. I think like that hasn't been from a set piece.
All right. Next, why did you have to bring this one up, man? Onga Spurs saying Fulham haven't won an away game all season. Oh
dear.
Dr. Tottenham, you better not rear your ugly head again, man.
Wolves hadn't had a point before they played Spurs. That changed.
I
wish I'd won.
Why today of all days, man? Or are you bringing this up?
I bring it up. This is a fact.
Oh,
just because even if you don't know about it, it doesn't make it not true.
I was already so excited for the weekend. Now my excitement levels have gone down.
Frank's got a ready-made excuse. Oh, how can we win against Dr. Tottenham? Those forces pulling us in a different direction.
Bloody Dr. Tottenham. You stay away from that stadium. You stay away from that stadium on Saturday, man. More RMFC says, watching the Spurs v PSG game again, and I noticed something very funny. Richarlison scored, then rushed to pick the ball up, and he remembered it's the opener. Bro's brain is wired to consolation goals.
He's so used to it. He's so used to scoring to get back in the game or a meaningless goal. That's where his brain immediately took him. I'll go get the ball, run back. But then he remembered, oh shit. First half, still calm down.
First half, we haven't conceded. No, he wasn't even... He wasn't going to, we wanted the second goal. It was top mentality from Richarlison.
Apparently he was about to take a shaft as well. Second thoughts.
Yeah.
Second thoughts about it.
Well, at least he's thinking now. Loading says, individual brilliance and errors skewed the result, but overall, well-coached game from Frank. The tactical setup gave us a chance to win at one of the best clubs in football. The real test is whether he sets up the same bravery and intensity versus Fulham, which will be telling. Right. Yeah, it's true. Everything there is pretty much what we've been saying on the review. I said, I even said he coached a win, even though we did concede 5 goals and we lost the game. But yeah, I thought it was very well coached from Frank. The only kind of gripe that we both had was that he could have made subs earlier. But in terms of if he sets up with the same bravery and intensity, like bravery is fair, but intensity, like every time he sets up with intensity. Like he's not telling the players not to be intense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like every game should be intense. There's no reason really, apart from for some reason physically the players can't do it. There's no real reason why the intensity shouldn't be there every game. That should always be the aim. Mm-hmm. Even if you're in a low block, you can play a low block with intensity, like and be aggressive. There's no reason why not. And the thing is, Fulham's going to be a different like test in terms of like. It's true that there are games this season, even at home, like against Wolves and other games, where we haven't been, like, bravery has for some reason been an issue, where obviously you should be going for it. But being brave isn't going to be enough. It's not about being brave. It's about having the quality and having the in-possession ability and build-up to break these teams down. And that's what Frank has to prove in these kind of games. When teams are coming here to stop you, it's about... I guess bravery is the right word. It's about throwing a bit of caution to the wind, forcing the team backwards, opening them up and creating chances. And, but like bravery, I guess, when people think of bravery, when I think of, you need to be brave, it's more about games like yesterday where you're facing, what's a superior team, but you've got to be brave to try and go forward and try and attack them and ask them questions. That isn't going to be a test against Fulham. You know that they're going to ask you to attack. It's a bit different. They're going to kind of force you onto them. It's about whether you have the quality to break them down, and that's what he's got to prove, where he can get this team to create chances against these kind of teams.
Yeah, like we did against Burnley, really. I mean, it wasn't even the greatest performance against Burnley, but they came with a plan. They stuck 5 at the back and asked us to break them down. And I think when you're looking at the games this season in terms of that aspect you're talking about, that's probably the only game where we've actually done it. Literally.
Yeah. And even then it wasn't that much, but yeah, just found some moments.
Yeah. All right. Mark Statsbot says PSG 5, Spurs 3. So these underlying data suggests that Frank did coach a win.
Well, that's what the data does say, to be fair. And you can see at the bottom here, it says PSG only had a non-penalty XG of 1.03, which, you know, obviously by their standards, very low. I think the telling thing here, you look at the pass map we saw against Arsenal, so much lower, and you know, barely any players in the Arsenal half. This time, a lot more aggressive, players getting closer, and it's actually more similar to the pass map we saw against PSG in the Super Cup, where we were, as much as we played a back three and it was obviously a counter-attacking performance, we were a lot more aggressive. And that's the thing. You can be counter-attack, you can still be aggressive, and you can still push up and press.
Yeah, exactly. Like those 2 games against PSG has got to be an eye-opener for him, because like the way we pressed both you know, the PSG on both those days was just so impressive. And we just need to keep on with that kind of method. Just it doesn't even, the system is secondary to me, like in terms of formation, but you got to keep those kind of same principles in the team about work rate, pressing, and all the good things that we saw in those 2 games, basically.
And you can see how close Muani and Rushi were next to each other. I think that just really helped yesterday. But yeah, it was like a big lack of. I mean, I guess the width was like I guess Spence was the one providing the width. So we didn't really have any width on the other side.
Yeah,
it was more just Jed Spence providing on the left-hand side. Whether going forward, that's going to be something he leans on. We'll see. Yeah,
it'd be nice to see. I want him to, but we'll see what happens in the future. But you won't find many teams, and I doubt there has been a team this season. I haven't looked at the stats, but I very much doubt it. A team that has won the XG battle against Paris in the Parc de France.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
PSG International says long throw 9 minutes in. F the Premier League.
This PSG fan ain't having it. He ain't having the Premier League. We're ruining football. Well, you just got to deal with it.
You wait till PSG starts doing long throws.
To be fair, I don't think we didn't bombard them yesterday with long throws, even though we had more opportunities. I
felt like there was like 1, maybe 2 in the whole game.
There was even a foul for it, wasn't there? Was it Porro?
No, it was Berg foul.
There's a foul throw in there as well.
Yeah.
There was also a couple of moments that we set up for a long throw. We didn't do a long throw. We actually played it short.
Yeah. Last 10 games, 3 wins, 2 draws, 5 defeats. So 3 wins in our last 10 games doesn't make for great reading.
Yeah, and that's the reality with yesterday. It does another L. But it is, to be fair, it is quite a tough fixture list in terms of difficulty in those 10 games. We knew it was going to be a tough period, but you know, going into that period, how many wins did you actually expect?
Yeah, so the only win I expected us to get wins against Villa, Monaco, and Manchester United. I didn't really expect us to get the win against Everton. It's always a hard place to go away from home, especially nobody had taken 3 points there as of yet. But look, PSG, Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle. I mean, these are games that not PSG obviously, but you know, we struggle in those games year in, year out. Newcastle away, Chelsea at home, Arsenal away. So I didn't really expect much in those games. But you know, it's in terms of thinking of the points expectancy, it's only about 3 or 4 points difference to what I expected.
Yeah, I get, because I mean the problem is that Monaco feels like a loss rather than a draw, even though it was a point.
Yeah.
So they don't get much credit for getting a point in that one. And also the defeats against Chelsea and Arsenal feel like more than a loss. They feel worse than just a normal defeat. So it goes that obviously compounds the feelings over the results. You
know what about that Monaco draw though? Like once the group stage is done, and let's say we've made the cut-off for 8 by 1 point, you know, that's going to be a massive point. Like as much as it was a terrible display and we should have lost, we held on and got the draw.
I didn't expect to win. I thought a draw was a good result. It's just more the reason why it doesn't really, you can't really give them credit for drawing is because they didn't deserve to draw in any way.
Yeah.
But no, it was I'm fine with a point there. I think it was a good point.
Yeah. Tottenham Independent Transfer Story says, bringing Paulinho on to tighten things up at 5-3 down.
Masterclass. Thomas Frank, he knows what he's doing. He's coming out there with something. He ain't getting embarrassed in this one.
Good. Anyone tries to use a stick to beat anyone with these days. I mean, literally, the midfield was running out of legs, and another midfielder had to come on, and that was João Paulinho.
Yeah, we saw the midfielders were tired, and they're young midfielders as well. Like, we needed some energy for the last bit of the game, so I doubt he was bringing Paulinho on to shore things up, put it that way. But yeah, people are always going to make their jokes.
Round out Kolo Muani, this Champions League campaign. 2 starts, 4 goal contributions. So the assist against Copenhagen and 3 goal contributions, 2 goals and an assist against his parent club, PSG.
Yeah, done really well in the Champions League so far in his 2 starts. Really happy with that. And look, hopefully this will really kickstart his Spurs career. It's been underwhelming so far, but not really any fault of his own, just really because of the injuries and the lack of game time. And he also came not fully fit as well because he wasn't getting game time for PSG. So, look, when people always talk about how we're desperate for a striker and we got no good forward options, but we just haven't really seen what Muani's capable of. I think yesterday was like the first glimpse of the true quality. We've seen glimpses, like some good hold-up play and stuff like that, but I think yesterday we really saw, okay, this guy can score goals for us.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I really hope that yesterday really kickstarts his Spurs career. I've seen a lot of criticism come from Muani in his early years at Spurs, and I feel it's like not really been warranted too much because, like, first of all, he's coming from a new league, he's in a new team, he's had non-stop kind of stop-start injuries and not been fully fit, and that's been kind of hampering him getting fully fit with stop-start injuries. And I think for me, I've not been like blown away with what like I'm talking about before the PSG game. I've not been blown away with what I've seen from Muani, but there are things I like in his game, and I think the more consistent minutes he gets, the better he's going to get. And I think that was an example of it yesterday. And I think that was the first time we've seen a proper, intense Kolo Muani for as long as we saw him for.
Yeah, and this is a striker who can get goals. We've seen it in his career. There's a reason why he's consistent, like kind of pick for France in their squads as well. I think Juve were desperate to get him in the summer for one. I don't know why they didn't, but they were trying really hard, I know, to get him in after his loan spell there. They really liked him. So I think this is going to be a good player. He just needs an opportunity to really show what he's about. And unfortunately, due to this circumstance, he hasn't had that. And hopefully now, even though he's still playing with a fractured jaw, he's going to start to show that.
Match of the Day said Richarlison has scored his first Champions League goal since scoring twice on his debut in September 2022. Long time ago, 3 years.
Against Marseille in a 2-0 win. He started crying after that, which is not an irregular occurrence.
As he does.
For Richarlison. Always quite emotional. But yeah, look, delighted for him. As we said before as well, that's 3-3 for him. So let's look, maybe he's going through, he can start going through a little spell like he did a couple of years ago where he hit like 9 in 10 or something.
Let's hope so.
That'd be class.
Well, we're 3-3 now, so we're part of the way there.
He's 5 in the Premier League. Look, for me, I've always said, like, I think he gets disrespected a lot by this fan base. I understand because he is a bit of a figure of fun because, he always takes his shirt off and he always gets looked like a bit of a clown. And as well, he does he can put in a stinker here and there, for sure.
Here and there.
Look, he can. And look, for me, I don't think the stinkers he had, look, don't get me wrong, recently he has been putting in stinkers. But I think a lot of it isn't necessarily down to him. A lot of it is down to how we're set up, what we're asking him to do. And what he's expected to do. I think it's very difficult for a player like Richarlison. We saw yesterday, you get a partner next to him, all of a sudden holding the ball up isn't so much of an issue. He can get players close to him. The last few games, the ball's been played to him, and he's not got a player within 30 yards from him, and inevitably he loses the ball.
Yeah.
So I feel for him in that case. And at the end of the day, like he has been this season, he's our top goal scorer now. I think in the Premier League, he's like 4th in terms of like goals. So he's up there with some of the top goal scorers. Like I think people talk about him like he's useless and he's garbage, and I think he's been scapegoated a lot.
Yeah, he has been scapegoated. That is a reality.
And also, I tweeted out as well. No one's overperformed their XG more than him.
I mean, he did score from the halfway line.
Yeah, he did, but even without that, he's still overperforming it. So that shows he's not as bad a finisher as people say he is.
Interesting. I mean, I've I've defended Richarlison over the years, but I think this year it has been pretty frustrating watching him play. But I grant you what you're saying about the tactical setups, and if you're not, it's the same with Javi, isn't it? Like Javi has found himself in such good positions in the pitch, but if there's no one close to him, he can't do anything. And it's very similar with Richarlison. So, yeah, he shouldn't get as much hate as he's getting at this moment in time, and he's doing pretty well for what he's been given so far.
But we even saw Muani in the few games before his injury where he started. Like, I know he probably showed more than Rishi, but he also still struggled to like get in goal scoring positions or being a goal threat because he just wasn't given that opportunity. But I feel like when Rishi's not given that opportunity, it's because he's shit. But it's not the same with other strikers. Sometimes I feel like there's two standards. But I'm not saying he's the best striker in the world. Don't get me wrong. I think he's definitely upgradable. But I just think people like say, "Oh, you can't do anything if you've got Rishi up front. You can never do anything." I think it's bollocks.
Well, it depends what they mean by never do anything.
Just attack.
Yeah, you
like
can.
Some people are blaming Frank not being able to get attacks on just an awful attack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't think Rishi's that level. You can say, oh, you can never do anything.
You can probably get to a certain level with the forward line that we've got, but it's hard to maybe get to the level that we want to get to. But we're a long way from that level anyway. So yeah, look, we can be doing a lot better with the forward line that we got. That is just a fact. I'm not even taking it as opinion. That is a pure fact. Like, to say that we can't score goals or we can't attack or can't create attacks with the forward line that we got that's just pure crap.
Yeah.
Spurs Web. So this was Pedro Porro on Instagram today, and he says, "We're going to bring the same attitude and ambition on Saturday." Well, where was that ambition and attitude last weekend on Sunday? Where was it against Chelsea? Where was it against Monaco? Where was it against Bodo? Where was it against Bournemouth? Where was it against Wolves? Where was it all these other games? Like, why? What has happened? Like, now they're saying, all right, fine, this is the attitude we're going forward with.
Yeah, I think it's... Look, I understand he's trying to take the good kind of aspects of what we showed against PSG, and he's like saying, look, we're going to bring this into Saturday, which is what we want. But in terms of attitude, like, there's no real reason that should ever not be the case. That's not something to be proud of. You should always have a good attitude.
Is that in itself? Is that post in itself him acknowledging that the team didn't have the right attitude going into those games?
Potentially, and I think that was clear to see. I think, but yeah, maybe there was a hard conversations had before this game, PSG. Maybe the Arsenal game was a big moment for everyone to take stock, because I think definitely it was for the fans, because we know the North London derby is always a massive game for us, and the way we played was always going to be unacceptable. But what we saw in the North London derby is because as much as it was a bad performance in the derby, we've had other games before where it's bad, where Frank's be like, yeah, it's a bad performance, but we'll try and be better, kind of thing next game. But that was kind of there was something different about that one, whereas okay, maybe there really is something wrong here that needs to be addressed, rather than just put it down to a bad day at the office. Yeah,
and it's always even more emotional against an Arsenal in an Arsenal loss, and you read a lot more into it. But look, if they are going to kind of use that Arsenal defeat as it's hard to say a springboard, but when something really bad happens, you start to look at things maybe in a different light, work things in a different way, have those kind of unwanted conversations that haven't been had beforehand, and things can get a lot better from that.
But the thing is, we better, you don't make these statements and don't turn up on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. That's very important.
Do that.
100%. Jacko says Thomas Francis came to Tottenham, used 5 different formations, never played the same midfield twice in a row in the last 8 league games, never played the same forward twice in a row. People here are still convinced that he's stubborn and not brave enough. In reality, he's experimenting a lot, almost like still searching for the perfect balance. He proved to be a very smart tactician with a lot of answers to different scenarios. I'm 100% sure he'll find the way to improve us if we give him time and trust. And yeah, I do agree with that.
I don't think anyone's ever accused him of being stubborn. I don't think anyone's ever thought Thomas Frank seems like a stubborn person. He seems very open to different things.
Yeah,
very
I'd agree with that.
And stuff like that. So I don't think that's a criticism. When people say he's not brave enough, I think Frank admitted it. He admitted it in the press conference before this game. He said he was asked, do your team take risks? He said, I think we do take this, but the crucial part is what he said after. He says, but I think we could take more. So that's pretty much him acknowledging maybe we have been a bit too pragmatic. Maybe we haven't taken enough risks. Maybe we haven't been brave enough. So I think up until this point, that has been true. And I think it's been true in our performances, and not just the derby, in a lot of games, like Wolves at home, Bournemouth. Like there's a lot of games where we've had opportunities to really go for it and we haven't done it. Or either we haven't been good enough or we just haven't done it. One of the two, I'm not sure. But I definitely think there's a lot of games. Like, why are you playing Bentancur Palhinha at home to Fulham? That is him not being brave enough. There's no other way to put it. So I think that's been a fair criticism of him. But then he did show yesterday he was brave. He was brave in the approach. He was brave in the team selection. So that's good. But in terms of all the different systems, like I guess you could look at it two ways because he was brought in as a manager to tinker. So I guess you shouldn't. I don't know if it's a criticism to say he's used all these formations, but it has also led to maybe a lack of stability with the way we play and a lack of we haven't really nailed down a way of playing yet, which the players can kind of get used to. And at the moment, everything's chopping and changing. Even when things are working, sometimes he's changed it. Like against Copenhagen, we had a really good game, and then the next game he changed it. So sometimes he's done it a bit unnecessarily. But I think in general, I understand what he's saying. Like he's used different formations, he's trying different things. And when he's very early on the job, when you're learning about the players and you're learning about who works with whom, what formation works best, like I'm not mad at it, but I'm just saying there is a consequence to that, and it's maybe the consequence is there's been a bit of a lack of familiarity with how we want to play.
Yeah. The thing is, right, if you stick to your key principles in every game, regardless of what system that you have, I think good things will ultimately come. So, like, there's a way to play a 3-5-2 formation or a 3-4-3 formation, and that's not the way we played at Arsenal. We played it all wrong. The way we played it at PSG in the Super Cup, that was all right. So that's that shows two different systems can just draw different things if you stick to your key principles. And in terms of chopping and changing formation from that aspect, I don't really mind too much. But as long as you stick to your key principles and have those fundamental values in your team, like working hard, like everything that any team should have, then I think we'll be okay. I really do.
Yeah.
Hotspur report says Tottenham created 38 times more XG against PSG than they did against Arsenal, which is...
Does that say more about the PSG game or the Arsenal game?
I think it says a lot about both, yeah.
But apparently the Arsenal game, they actually was so low, it would have taken us 17 games to get one goal. So that's what the comparison is. But yeah, look, we did very well to create the level of chances we did yesterday. So fair play to the team. Did well, got the goals as well. Just unfortunately, we just let the game get away from us on the day.
Yeah. ESPN FC says Vitinha recorded the first career hat-trick for club and country today in PSG's win over Spurs. He's making a real case as one of the best midfielders in the game right now. And this is a player that Wolves just easily let go of. How mad is that?
It's mad. I mean, look at them now. Like, imagine them turning down Vitinha. That's crazy. But yeah, what a player. The goals he scored as well were just phenomenal. It wasn't just the goals. His ability on the ball is just world class. This is a world class midfielder we're talking about.
Yeah.
But we're letting midfielders dunk on us, man. 2 hat-tricks in consecutive games.
I know.
Who's in midfield next for Fulham? If we let
Sander Berge.
Imagine we let Smith Rowe bag a hat-trick.
Oh, don't. But Vitinha is just an incredible player. To actually watch him play live in person yesterday, it actually was a joy to watch him. Like as
and
much
he
as
with both feet as well, didn't he?
Yeah,
Left and right foot.
He's phenomenal. He really is a phenomenal talent. And he's how old is he? Like 23?
Yeah, he's still young.
So I mean, he's just going to keep getting better and better and better. And like, you look at, I mean, we touched on it a bit in the preview, but you're looking at these kind of players like the Vitinha, the João Neves, these kind of players. They wouldn't look out of place in any team in world football right now. Oh. Barcelona, Real Madrid, like, you know what I mean? What players?
100%.
Mitch Fretton says, I think we're at a point now where starting Gray and Bergwell has to be the priority over Bentancur and Palhinha. The difference in quality is night and day. So, I think we've got a squad. We've got a squad for a reason. But I think yesterday proved that there's no reason to play Bentancur and Palhinha together. I was originally of the thought like saying, yeah, fine, let's go Bentancur Palhinha in majority of away games. But we went away to one of the best teams in the world literally yesterday without Palhinha even in the side, with Bentancur there, and I thought we were fantastic. So I don't think we need it.
Whatever.
Well, yeah, in odd games here and there, but I wouldn't say like every away game has to be Bentancur Palhinha, you know what I mean? Because that's what we were saying before.
I agree with that. Like, look, we have had good performances with them, like City away and obviously the Super Cup. But I just want to see Gray and Bergvall given way more minutes, especially in the Premier League, way more starts. They've got the quality. I think it's going to help us so much as well when it comes to our ability to progress the ball and hold possession as well and have more quality. I think having those two is going to help us so much. Also, just maybe add that little bit of energy and that youthful exuberance they bring. They're the future. That's the reality. So we need to start building them up and giving them consistent starts and minutes. Because look, they've shown yesterday they're ready to be playing. They're ready.
They really are ready. And yeah, like
we didn't know with Bergvall. We knew that already with Bergvall.
But yeah, Bergvall we knew already. I think with Bergvall, I think this season what he's needed is a bit more consistency because there has been a bit of up and down performances there. But
he's also chopped and changed his position.
It's true. That is true. So, but I think with Bergvall, we know what a top quality player is. Like we saw it last season. He was one of our most important players. With Archie Gray, we haven't seen that. We've seen him fit in here, fit in there, fit in everywhere, centre back, right back, left back, whatever. Last season, whenever he played in midfield, we're just like, look, this guy's not ready to start in the Premier League at midfield. But every time he's given a chance under Thomas Frank, I think he's flourished in every single game he's had a chance in. So whatever Thomas Frank has been coaching him, telling him what to do, anything behind the sidelines they've been doing together, because we know that he's a massive fan of Archie because he wanted Archie at Brentford. So he's obviously got a plan for him. And he needs to start getting more minutes because he deserves it. And the more minutes he gets, the more he's going to justify that 40 million price tag.
Yeah, I just think these two have been underused so far this season at different points. And it's just weird. Like he's chopped and changed with a lot, but Bentancur Palhinha seems to be one of the things he hasn't tended to until now.
Yeah, it's true.
So let's hope that starts to change.
Yeah. All right, next up is Mikel. And this is a fan's video of the goal, but look at that from Bergvall, man. It's just top quality, man. Oh, it's just so silky. Look.
Back of his head. Gray, it's a very clever run from Gray. You see him on the blind side as well. It's a brilliant team goal. Brilliant dink as well. Left foot. That's a little quality dink from him.
Yeah.
And Muani as well hit brilliant presence of mind to pick out Rishi. It's just a great goal around. But yeah, to see those two link up together for that goal was just clear evidence of the quality them two have, and maybe they can start linking together.
Absolutely. Who scored? Says Pape Matar made 2 errors leading to a goal in defeat against PSG last night, the most of any player in a single Champions League game this season. It is very frustrating. I do think like Pape, particularly in the first half, had a much better performance than we've seen in recent weeks. I mean, he started the season on fire. He was in fire throughout the whole of pre-season as well. And we're thinking, look, this is the season for Pape. And you saw James Maddison saying, I want you to get 15 goals this season. And for one reason or another, his season has, I don't know what's happened to him, but he hasn't been at the same levels. He's been a bit under par, should I say, in kind of recent weeks. I think yesterday actually was a step in the right direction in terms of performance. However, those individual errors did cost us the game, so he's got to be marked down for it for sure.
Yeah, he's still got that bet on with Maddison, doesn't he? 15 goals this season.
Yeah.
I don't know if, how many is he on? 4 or 3? I don't know if he's going to reach 15. You never know. Maybe
he's on 2, I think.
He's on 2. Yeah, so he's just been not as good in the past few games. Again, I don't know what it's leading to or what it's led from. I thought yesterday there were times he was good, and then the second half those mistakes really, really poor from him. Was put in trouble by Romero, but he's got to get rid of the ball quickly. He's got to realise the players around him. He just kind of lacked awareness. For both goals, he lacked awareness.
You can't just like try dribble out in your own box against like this high pressing. You know what PSG are about. Like they'll hound you out for doing that, and that's exactly what they did.
You've got to be perfect.
Yeah,
and he made 2 mistakes, and at the end of the day, pretty much him and Romero together really cost us.
Yeah,
unfortunately. Let's hope he learns from it and builds off it. I still think there's obviously a great player in there, but recently he's been off form.
All right, well, there you have it. That is how the internet did react to the game. We'll be back tomorrow to preview the Fulham game. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.